Here we go again, man. Back through this. Went through the police station once already, and they told me that I don't have no constitutional rights and that I'm sadly mistaken about my constitutional amendments. But so many of our soldiers go to war and fight and die for these exact rights. And for what? You come back and they tell you that you ain't got no rights. You can't be part of this or you can't do that. So I just had a judge tell me right now that my First Amendment freedom of speech and press will not be allowed in his public courtroom. He is a public servant. The DA, the prosecutor, whatever you want to call them, they're all public servants, man. Every last one of them. And all these peace officers and sheriffs, that badge and that gun is just a facade. They don't carry no power because power is derived from the people. So if power is derived from the people, then that means that you have your power because of us. And as you can see, I'm in the courthouse. And I just told a man about exercising my First Amendment right, and he told me I had to get out of his courtroom. Which is hilarious because he has to take an oath. Or let's put it in their legal term, oath or affirmation, before he can sit on a bench and rule against anybody or make any type of decisions that will affect someone's life. So, now, you have all these people that think they God and can play God and tell you what you can and can't do and how you have to go on about your daily routine. It's all fucking nonsense, man. Because they don't want you to know what's right and they don't want you to know what's wrong. They want you to stay under their boot. So you're just another stupid motherfucker that don't know what's going on. And for the ones of us that choose to stand up, this is what we get. We get met with hostility, violence, threats. But if we make a threat, that's a terroristic threat. You're going to jail. So it's okay for a judge or a sheriff to threaten you. And that's all there is to it. No more, no less. But civilians and public people got to go by a different set of rules. And really, there's no different set of rules because there's already been court cases that have been won. And matter of fact, Marbury versus Madison is one of the real big ones because it says not even the Supreme Court has the power to overrule the Constitution. So if the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land and they ain't got no power over the Constitution, then you damn well know that these fucking city judges that sit on these councils and all this shit ain't got no motherfucking power to go over the Constitution. But they want you to believe that. They want you to think that, they have all this power to tell you what to do and where to go and how to do it. And really, man, that don't mean shit. Those are just suggestions. Them motherfuckers can't tell you what to do, man. God gave me life. You ain't give me life. So if God gave me the inalienable ability to travel and move and go wherever I want to go, then there's no man on this earth that can tell me that I have to abide by what another man tells me. And especially since you work for me, see, that's the funny thing about all this. All these deputy sheriffs and all these police officers, man, they're fucking public servants, dude. That's all they are. No more, no less. And there's a police officer from the Port Seattle, Washington Police Department, Greg Anderson. And he put a video up on Instagram saying that, i.e., the American public was going to get tired of having our constitutional rights trampled on. And he goes on to say in this video that he had been to war and those guys fought so hard because they were over there on their own land. So how do you think the American people are going to fight? Our country was made on defiance. That's why we have the Constitution. Because of defiance. Because farmers not wanting to lay down their weapons and not paying taxes on their property that belongs to them. So you want to tell me to be some kind of straight arrow guy when our whole existence is based on defiance? And that ain't just me talking. Go back through your history books and read it. Lincoln only agreed to free the slaves after the Civil War. Why after the Civil War? Why not before? Because all these white men that didn't want to obey him and do what he wanted them to, he did away with slavery knowing that it was going to hurt them. Like, hey, you don't want to listen to me? I can make you listen to me in a different type of way. So when he freed the slaves, what did that do? Now it leaves the white man to till his own dirt. Now it leaves the white man to pick his own cotton. You dig what I'm saying? So Lincoln didn't free the slaves because that was the right thing to do. Lincoln freed the slaves as a punishment to the white man that didn't want to listen to him. But they ain't going to put that in a history book. They ain't going to tell you about that. They'll tell you what they want you to know. But other than that, they're not going to tell you the truth about why all this happens. And if everybody was to know their constitutional rights, then guess what? It wouldn't be no more of this nonsense. Because that's all it is. You get people every day disrupting their lives because you pull them over for a traffic ticket. Well, the Fourth Amendment is unreasonable searches and seizures. So when you pull me over on the side of the road, that's not a courtroom. And not just that, but then that's when your Fifth Amendment comes into play. You shall not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That means, again, without going in a courtroom. The 14th Amendment also states that if you are naturalized here, then you have all the privileges and immunities that come along with it. So, the world we live in, the minority don't have no rights. Huh? We ain't got no right to them. We ain't got no rights. If you don't know your rights, you ain't got them. And that's what the bottom line is. And that's why the system is so screwed up. Because they only want one race to have power. How is that? How is that equality? It's not. Equality is not based on the color of your skin or how much money you make. Equality means that I am a man just like you, and regardless of my pay or my skin color, you no different than me. If I get shot, I bleed red. If another man gets shot, he bleed red too. So skin color has nothing to do with it, but to them it does. So when you have to deal with ignorant people like this, sometimes it's best just to walk away, because it's not going to do you no good to be ignorant just like them. See, I got a long history. You hear me? One of my uncles was a Buffalo soldier. So yeah, before they had the little park rangers at Yosemite and Yellowstone Park, yeah, my great-grandfather was one of the black Buffalo soldiers that patrolled Yosemite and Yellowstone Park. So why is it that the white man can entrust a black man with something that's so important to him, as they say, that Yellowstone and Yosemite are national treasures, but you trust a black man to take care of it, right? But he don't have no rights, but you trust him to take care of what you own, or what you think you own. So it's a trip, man. This world we living in is coming to chaos. And it's not even coming to chaos through the citizens. It's coming through the people that think they run us. It's the people that think they can treat us and do to us whatever they want to, And all we have to say is, yes, sir. Yes, sir, master. We'll do what you say. I'm not one of them niggas. I never will be. And for those of y'all that think this is just bullshit or whatever, you good. You brainwashed. That's what they want. They want you to believe that they can do anything to you. But Justice Marshall in the Marbury versus Madison case says a piece of paper cannot be more powerful than our Constitution. And if a piece of paper cannot be more powerful than our Constitution, that means that it can't give the Supreme Court more power than what they say they have. So if it can't give the Supreme Court more power, then it definitely is not going to give these cities and counties more power over us. Because federal law is our U.S. Constitution. That's federal law. So whatever's in the federal law is what you must abide by. And Justice Marshall also said, there can only be one supreme law of the land. So if our U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, then please tell me why these people feel they have the right to impose city ordinance on us. Because a city ordinance is not a law. A city ordinance is something that these cities come up with that's designed to take money out of our pockets. They robbing from us. And most people just say, hey, okay, you know what, I'm going to pay this ticket, no big deal. But yeah, it is a big deal. Because you keep asking these questions, I can't understand why, or I can't understand how. It's real fucking simple. Abide by the laws in our Constitution, and those are the only laws you have to abide by. Point blank, period. And they're going to argue with you and tell you you're wrong, or they're going to tell you that you're fucking stupid, or that you have no concept of what the Constitution means. But George Washington understood what the fucking Constitution means. One of our very first forefathers, and he stood up for it. So if he stood up for it, how is it nonsense now? And I'll tell you this. Most of these people that work in these courtrooms or hold a badge, they couldn't even tell you when the first Philadelphia Convention was put into effect. Because the Philadelphia Convention is what's now known as the Constitutional Convention. But I guess unless you have education, you won't know that. But they put the shit in places where they know most minorities ain't gonna go, which is in a book. So they know most minorities ain't gonna get in a book and read nothing. If it ain't got to do with gang banging, dope selling, and all this shit, most motherfuckers ain't gonna pick up a book and read. But they think that just because most people won't pick up a book and read, that all people don't pick up books and read. Well, that's a mistake that they make. Because not all of us are that fucking stupid. And we do know how to read. So, if you know how to read, then it's just that plain and simple. They could tell you whatever they want. And they can try to word it however they want. And they can try to make it sound as pretty as they want. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Supreme law of the land. And that's what it is. But yet, they gonna tell you everything in their power that you stupid and you don't know what you're talking about. So, it's funny, man, that they think that they could just control people and do whatever they want and speak however they want. And we just have to bow down and take it. Nah, bro, we don't. We don't. We bow down and take it, thinking that it's going to get us somewhere. But that's the same thing that all these other people that's been fighting for our rights for all these years thought too. And guess what? Back then they was asking. You feel what I'm saying? They was asking us. And we was asking them. We ain't asking no more. We telling you, we know what's up. We know what our rights are. And just because you don't like them or you want to stop them for some reason, don't mean it's right. And it don't fucking mean that I'm going to listen to you. I stopped listening to my mama when I was 13, 14 years old. The fuck makes you think I'm going to listen to somebody that's speaking nonsense? Never. 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 So, say what they want, talk all they want, but at the end of the day, we all have rights. And every time these so-called officials feel like violating them, then we as the people just got to sit down and take it. Well, some of y'all might, but I'll tell you this. They can call me stupid, ignorant, whatever they want to. But I know one thing. All this stateside shit is just what it is. Because if you ever take this shit in a federal courtroom, it's going to be put exactly where it should have been from the beginning. In the fucking trash. Supreme Court don't care about no fucking state law. And the Supreme Court will hear any case where your constitutional rights were violated. So it don't matter what state you're in. As long as you can prove your constitutional rights were violated, they can hear cases all over the United States. But they'll put it in a textbook about slavery and all this. But they ain't gonna put it in no textbook and tell you what your rights are. It's a wonder. You go to our school systems, they don't teach you nothing about our Constitution. These peace officers that go to the police academy, they don't get taught the Constitution. That's why when you say something to them, they look at you like you fucking stupid because they ain't never been taught. But you got these military men that come back from overseas that become police officers that understand what you're saying because they went to fight for it. So understand this. Our military doesn't go and fight for city laws and ordinance. Our military goes to fight for our pursuit of happiness, our freedom, and that's all given to us in the Constitution. So if this is what our military men and women are going to die for, and then I come in a courtroom and you tell me that I'm wrong, you tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, are you going to tell them same soldiers that they're ignorant? Are you going to tell them same soldiers, you going to tell their family, the ones that's dying, that it don't mean shit? Because that's all it is a spit in the face to these men and women that go and protect our lives. Because without them protecting us, we would have been done with the shit years ago. And I got family that's been in the military. And the military does teach you about the Constitution because they teach the soldiers that that's what they're protecting. So how can you tell me on one hand that our soldiers go and protect our constitutional rights, but then I come in a courtroom and I ain't got no constitutional rights? That makes a lot of sense, huh? Yeah, I know. So they wonder why this world's coming chaos. And it ain't because people ain't got nothing better to do. It's because people are tired of getting fucking stepped on, man. That's what it is. People are tired of being treated like garbage, like their life don't mean nothing. And if you go back through the history of this great state they say we live in, that's so free, then they know that it's built off rebellious. So just because it's a different generation, you expect us not to rebel? See, our grandfathers and our great grandfathers, they was asking. They was asking for their rights. See, I'm not asking no more because I know what they are. So I ain't asking about my rights. I'm taking my rights for what they are. And they might be able to put you through a whole bunch of bullshit and make your life hard and stressful. But as soon as you get to federal law, all this shit gets done away with, man. All this shit, all these ordinances and shit that the city say you gotta have, go to the federal law. It's a reason why the federal law say you ain't gotta have no driver's license. It's a reason why federal law say you ain't got to have no fucking ID. Cause this ain't Nazi fucking Germany. You ain't gotta prove who you are. But these people want you to be dumb. And they want you to bow down like our grandfathers did, great grandfathers. They want us to bow down that way. But you can only ask for so long before people get tired of asking, man. And 2 generations, my great grandfather and my grandfather asked. So I'm gonna be a dummy and follow in the footsteps and keep asking? Sure. They asked, and where did it get them? Beat, hung, sprayed with fire hoses? Yeah, that's what it got them for asking. And these people actually expect us to keep asking and asking and asking, when the whole time y'all been taking and taking and taking. All I can tell you is that so if what's right is right, and everybody has constitutional rights, then what's fair is fair. No matter your color, don't matter how much money you make, don't matter whether you're smart or not. If our justice system is based off of right, and solely on that, then there's a lot of people that are wrongfully in prison, man. And they want us to be the same way that our ancestors were. And like I was saying earlier, you don't trust minorities, but it's funny that comes up because my grandfather was a Buffalo soldier in 1866. And he was one of the soldiers entrusted with protecting Yosemite National Park and Yellowstone National Park. So you'll trust a nigga to watch over something you say you own. You'll trust him with doing that, but he ain't got no rights farther than what you want to give him? Yeah, man, it don't work like that. Back then, maybe. And back then, they accepted that. It's a new day and age, man. New day and time. And as long as we continue to accept this, then this is what we get. Because asking for generations on generations ain't got us nowhere. Being polite to the people that are rude to you has been happening for years. But when you stand up for yourself, oh, now you're being hostile. Now you're a paper terrorist because you're standing up for your rights. So fucking put me on the FBI watch list because you think I'm some kind of fucking paper terrorist. So fucking what? At the end of the day, you know what's coming out of my mouth is true. But you just don't have the balls to admit it. But there's one officer that did. And he's from Seattle, Washington, and they have him on administrative leave because I actually called the police department. I called the Seattle, Washington Police Department, and Greg Anderson is on administrative leave pending the investigation for what he uploaded to Instagram. And the man clearly states that all this shit that's going on, man, pulling us over, taking us to jail, making us pay fines, those are all violations of our Fourth Amendment. And our Fourth Amendment is violated, then that means automatically your Fifth Amendment has been violated. Automatically.
I was waiting for you to comment on 157. Yes, he said, by my calculations,
So
you're making 157,000.
all these judges and police officers, I guess they got their constitutional rights, but I guess since we don't sit on no bench or we don't wear no badge, we ain't got no rights. They the only ones that got rights to do what they want to do. So, like niggas of yesterday, they just want us to sit there and yes sir and no sir. Fuck all that, man. Ain't no time for that no more, man.
157.
They trying to destroy something God created, man. And a lot of them will talk to you about the Bible. And they don't really know shit about the Bible. Because if they did, all this judgmental shit that's going on, they would realize that they're going to have to pay for it come Judgment Day. Because in the Bible, it clearly tells you, for the way you judge one man, you should be judged upon Judgment Day. So if you sentence another man to death, when your ass go to see God, you got some shit to discuss. But you see, I'm one of the unfortunate ones. Instead of just believing everything that this person told me or that person told me, I went and done what they done. I went and got in them books. Yeah. I went and learned the same thing they know. And now that I know it, they don't like it. And just like with anybody else that goes out there to educate yourself, it's a wonder why all the minority communities don't have no after-school programs or nothing to help the kids. But if you got money, here you go. Endless opportunities. And you can't figure out why our society keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Because the mentality of these people is the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's the mentality that they have. And you can't expect nobody to move no further than where they at if they can't educate themselves. So if you can't educate yourself, you think I'm just going to sit out here and starve? No. I'm going to go do whatever I got to do to put food on my table to feed my family. Whether it's right or wrong. You don't want to give me an opportunity to do nothing with my life, then I'm going to take it however I can get it. And they don't understand the mindset of people. But when you ain't ate shit in a week, you going to go and take what you want instead of asking for it. So, this is all this nonsense, dog. It's going to come to an end. It's all going to come to an end because at the end of the day, we got rights and they can't fuck with them. They can yell and get mad all they want to, but they can't fuck with them. So all this shit that they're doing is unconstitutional.